Welcome back, ladies
and gentlemen,
boys
and girls,
cats.
and dogs,
These are your hosts, Javi
and Eli, and we hope that you enjoy today's video. If you have been thinking about creating a YouTube channel but live in a small apartment or house and do not have enough space for a studio, stay tuned, as in this video we will show you how you can transform any room into an amazing YouTube studio. Most importantly, by doing a studio like this in any room of your house, you can save money on the initial investment and you don't have to worry about having to rent out a space in any office nearby. Along the video, we will also share some tips and tricks to create this at-home studio. And I know that you guys may be wondering what the heck is Javi doing creating a studio when we do RV renovations? And the answer is very simple. It's work. Our RV renovation company, it's used for RVs, but sometimes people reach out to us for other jobs. And in this case, it was for setting up a YouTube studio at home. We don't do these things all the time, but sometimes we make exceptions. One of the main reasons why we decided to make an exception is because the owner of this apartment is a friend of ours here in Austin. So we decided to give him a hand and help him create a YouTube studio at home. So without further ado, let me start explaining everything that is going on. And as you guys can see, this is a very small space. It is actually the dining area of a 3-bedroom apartment in the city of Austin, Texas. In this occasion, the idea is to create a simple yet professional setup that will allow Pete to create great image and sound recordings, but also that he can put away, since this is also the entryway to the kitchen of his apartment. The very first thing we thought of was setting up the cameras. And in this case, we used the C100 cinema camera from Canon, as well as the M50. And later on, we set up a Canon 80D as well. These are 3 really good cameras that you can buy on a budget to start up your YouTube channel. From there, we went ahead to start putting up some of the items that were purchased to make this small space look great on camera. At the end of this video, you will see that you actually don't need a lot to start your own YouTube recording studio, and we hope that this video serves as a good example that you can make things work no matter what. So, if you have been thinking about creating that YouTube channel, do not wait any longer and go ahead and start it right now. And let us know in the comments so that we can also subscribe to your channel. One of the most important parts of a studio like this one is the camera setup and the lighting for the camera. So, we had to get one of the cameras hanging from the ceiling down, and for that you can get these rails. They come on a pair, so you get 2 at a very reasonable price. They're around $50. You cannot beat that price, and they're really good quality. These were purchased from Amazon, and we're going to leave you guys the link in the description so that you can see all of the details. The way that these rails are made is for the specific purpose of hanging cameras by using special brackets so the cameras won't fall. We recommend that you try to get items that are made for the purpose of recording instead of trying to create your own items, because we don't want the cameras to break. So just try to keep an eye on that. There is a lot of things that you can buy online, but this is really a great instrument for your at-home YouTube studio. All throughout the process, you will also see that we keep taking measurements and changing the position of the camera and also the lighting to get the best angle. Another very important thing is to always mark down your recording area. Since this table will have to be moved out of the way, you need to mark down the best shooting position so you don't have to come back every time that you start recording to make changes to it and then have to do all of the measurement again. So it will save you a lot of time. You can also create marks on the floor, and as soon as you're ready to record, you can just put it in place and press play. For this kind of setup, you also need to make sure that the rails are even and level. That way your camera can record looking straight down and not be crooked. Once the camera was in position, then it was time to set up the halo lights. And for that, we had to use another bracket. So one is for the camera and another one for the light. This halo light was also a great purchase, and you won't believe where we got it from. We bought it at the local Walmart for just 17 bucks, and we were really surprised at the quality of this halo light. A tip for today that I already mentioned is to also mark down your table. You can see that we have blue tape here, and that will help you out when you start recording. That way you don't have to measure and set everything up every single time. The second light that is being set up in this location is a little bit more expensive and semi-professional, but it was also a great addition, and it was purchased at a local store called Precision Camera. This is a really cool place where you can get all sorts of camera equipment and also cameras and camera lenses. Then it was time to do circumference. And the reason for this is that because one of the walls inside of this area is also the entryway to the kitchen, and we had to place the rod in a specific position to be centered in the room. Then we wouldn't have any way to hang the rod in that specific position. I don't know if my explanation made a lot of sense right here, but you can see that pretty much we had to put it as part of the wall. That way the rod can be positioned in the center of the room. Pretty much what happened is that if this rod were to be put on the front side of this wall, it was just taking up too much of the front space, and if we put it on the back wall, then it was too close to the window and there won't be any space in the back to go in or out. So since it had to be in the center, we then had to figure out how to put it there, and the solution was just placing a piece of wood in there so that the rod can be put in the most perfect position that we found. Again, as you can see, Javi's measuring everything and making sure that everything is centered so that it can be done. And getting one of these HUSKY tables from Home Depot is also a great idea, because as you can see, you can easily move the table anywhere that you need, and you can have your studio all set up, and then you can move the table in different positions if you want, so that you can take different shots, and you know, you don't have to move any heavy equipment. By the end, the idea is to have as many things as possible attached to this table, so that there is nothing laying around outside of the table and it can just be put away very easily. As I previously said, please make sure that you measure everything so that you're able to take the best shots with your cameras once you're ready. And this line was giving us some issues, so as always, Javi had to break it apart to make it better. Don't worry guys, he does this a lot, and at the end, it always works. There are barely ever any leftover pieces, but he always makes it work. So that's something that you will see him do a lot in all of our videos. At this point, you can see that some of the finishing touches were already added, some decoration, and also it was time to give the final touches to the cameras. Since we had to take out the rail and put it back in, the top-down camera was also put away, and now Javi had to set it up all over again. We also recommend that if you have a studio like this, you add some decoration and also some character to the background that tells the public a little bit about yourself. So if you add things that you like and more personal items to your background, that helps you start creating your own brand for all of your videos. Again, as you can see, there are two different brackets. One is for the halo light that will give all of the lighting to the top-down camera, and another one for the camera itself. Also, Javi decided to give this plant a haircut since he was looking like a tropical storm. So we tamed her down a little bit so it would look better in the space. And again, the way that you can tell when a thing looks good or bad, or if you have to change things around, is through the lens of the camera. You can have a really good idea and it can look great, but it can look totally different through the camera. So always keep checking the image on the camera, as this is the ultimate goal, is to have a good video and a good image on your camera. Another tip for today is to use these channels to hide all of the cables and the connections going up so that you don't see any cables sticking out through the camera. You can get a set of these very inexpensive from Amazon, and since this is a rental, you can use them pretty much to do any sorts of cables channeling and hiding all of the cables that you want, because they would just stick to the wall and you can remove them later on. If you own your place, then you can do different things, but this is a quick fix for a rental, or if you don't want to go through the hassle of breaking down walls or anything like that. Hiding all of the cables is going to make everything look so much nicer and cleaner. A setup like this one is definitely under $1,000. And that, of course, is before accounting in for any of the gear, like the cameras and the computers. But still, by staying under budget, setting up your at-home YouTube studio, you can use whatever additional money towards your cameras and your lenses, which we believe that at the beginning is the most important thing. So it's not so much about the studio, although it can, of course, make a huge difference for you down the road. But first, you should focus on getting a good camera and, of course, a good computer to do all of your editing. Another very inexpensive item that can make a world of difference for your at-home studio is the color lights. They give so much character and life and ambience to your studio, and you can add just a few of them and make everything look so much nicer and just give it more life. Something else that you can do with these lights, instead of just doing random colors, is to use your brand colors. So if you already have a logo or something that you think will become your brand colors, you can use them as your background colors. And believe me, you guys, if you stick to a brand and if your goal is to create a brand, the sooner that you can identify those colors and items that will make you stand out from the crowd, the better it will be. And at this point, there was still a few other things to adjust, but that was it for this at-home studio. As always, we want to thank you for watching our videos. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram for more of our day-to-day activities. And also remember that we have a website with much more information, including our blogs. We hope to see you on the next video or on the road. Stay safe and keep on RVing.